In this video, I'm gonna take you guys through a realistic live trading session that made me $13,050 in 2 minutes. You'll see me enter and exit with real-time executions, as well as the breakdown of the exact strategy that I used. So by the end, you'll be able to actually trade this strategy on your own, as well as execute this real time. So let's get right into it. So before I show you guys the actual live trade of this, I'm gonna break down each step of my strategy so you guys can follow along. And as you guys can see, this is exactly where I entered, and then this is exactly where I exited. And all I did was just wait for the breakout of this key level. That's basically my entire strategy. But it gets a little bit more complicated than that. So let's go into how to find the key level. We're on the 1 hour time frame here because that is the time frame that I use. I found that that gives us the highest probability breakouts, and I continue to use it to this day. I also execute on the 1 minute time frame, but that's after we find these key levels. So what I'm looking for is reactions. So this is the day that we were taking the trade, that 165 break. But what we saw previously was every time we got to that area, we just started bouncing. As you guys can see right here, we bounced off of that key level. And then we also look back even further, we see that every time that price got up to that area, we rejected. And then once we were able to break out, we had a very nice breakout. We can't expect a different outcome with the same equation. That's why we need to make sure that on the 1 hour time frame, it looks very nice. We get the reactions. Price is respecting that level. And then once it breaks out very nice. Now, once we got the key level, now we're able to hop on our charts and wait for this key level to break. But you have to make sure that you see these two other things before we take the breakout. Now, the first thing is good price action leading up to the level. What exactly does that mean? We want to make sure that price is still respecting that area, as that is still our key level. So we go to the 1 minute time frame and we see how price is respecting that level. As you guys can see right here, price bounced off that 165, we came up, and then we continued lower, made a new low, and then bounced even closer at that 165, indicating that sellers are still in control here, and we're able to drop lower and lower and lower. The only problem is that key level is so strong, which is allowing us to bounce every time. So another thing that I'm taking note of is buyers aren't able to bring it up as high as they were previously, which means that sellers are more in control. As you guys can see with these highs right here, sellers are continuing to bring this down lower and lower and lower, and these buyers try to bounce off this 165 and they don't go as far as they were previously. All signs indicating that sellers are still in control and we're about to get this breakout. Now, we need this one other thing that will allow us to take this breakout, and it's the most important thing. Now, the candles are telling me a story, and it's our job to dissect that. We have to be able to read these candles like a book, not just the open and close, but as the candles are forming and how they're reacting. That's very important. Are buyers getting stronger? Are sellers getting stronger? We need to know this critical information as we're getting down to this 165 key level, or else it's going to fake us out. Now, the last thing that I use to make sure that we don't get faked out and to have the most highest probability in the market here is time and sales. Time and sales is an indicator that allows us to see real time what buyers and sellers are doing. If we could identify what buyers and sellers are doing real time in the market, we're going to have a really high probability strategy. Now, what are we looking for? There's only two things that I'm looking for on the time and sales. It's aggression, and it's also velocity, aka speed. The faster the tape is moving, that means the more volume is there. Now, that does not mean I'm just going to get in right away, because we also need to see aggression. We want to make sure that that volume is actually sellers coming in, for this example, to continue to drop us lower and lower and lower to finally break this 165 wall. Now, if that might seem confusing, it's going to make more sense while we're watching this video. So we have the key level right here, that 165. As you guys can see, the numbers on my screen, they're increasing speed. You guys see how fast this time of sales is moving? That indicates that sellers and volume is there. Now, we want to make sure that the aggression is there in order for us to get down to this 165 key level. So what I'm really looking at is the bid and ask, and I'm seeing the end numbers, the 20s, seeing if we go to 20s, then 10s, then 5s, and coming down, and how aggressive that is. Because if we get stuck there, then we're just going to bounce like we did previously. We want to make sure that we're more aggressive and we have more velocity coming down than we did previously when we stopped at 165. And you guys can see this thing has continued to speed up here. Now we're getting to the lower 15s, 13s, we're in the 14s, but we're staying under 20s, which is a great sign, right? We retest 20s, and then we continue to stay lower. Look at this aggression. You guys see how we just went from 14s to 5s to 3s? Look at the speed. Look at the aggression. Once this pops up like that, that is when I'm in. I'm going to be in slightly before because I anticipated it because of the previous price action. stopped at 11s, that's when I was able to get in because we were more aggressive and there was more volume and velocity coming in right under that low day. This has a very high probability of continuing right here, especially if you get all of these prints coming in on the time of sales. All of the price action looks great. Everything looks good. I'm fully in this position. And then guess what happens? This was a huge wall, huge key level here. We absolutely die. And as you guys can see, literally instantly, dollar move like that, which equates to around 30% on the contracts just like that, which is absolutely insane. And then that's it. We got our 1 to 3 risk to reward. We're risking around 5K to make this 13K, which is an amazing trade. And we move on to the next one. Now, I made something special for you guys. Down in the description below, it's a free trader blueprint. It's going to tell you the exact stage that you're at in your trading journey, and it's going to tell you the exact next steps to take to level up your trading stats, to take you to the next level in your journey as a trader. It's completely free. Definitely go check it out. First link in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.